Eminem and Rihanna are modern day prophets, and I say this based on their music video, Love the Way You Lie. Now, what makes someone a prophet? Well, prophets know something very deep about human nature. They know the darkness that can come over human nature. And they know them because of experience. I mean, you look at any of the biblical prophets and they're pretty upfront in a very uncomfortable way about the darkness that can overcome human beings when we move away from the God of compassion, of love, of mercy, of forgiveness. When we move away from those qualities, that essence of who God is, and move towards something else, we're likely to move towards violence. And this is what Eminem and Rihanna are trying to get at, and they're warning us. This is what prophets do. Prophets warn us about future realities if we continue down a path that is violent. And this is the warning of Love the Way You Lie. And in the music video, which is probably too powerful to show at a church, although if you read Hosea, there's powerful images in that as well. But I've got this other video that just has the lyrics that I'll show you. But in the video, there's all of this fire that's going on. And what Eminem and Rihanna are doing here, I think, is warning us about the hell that we create for ourselves in these relationships that are based on violence. Some of the lyrics in the video are Rihanna when she says, "I love the way you lie," and also, "Watch me burn. I love the way that it hurts." And why would somebody love being hurt?
Just gonna stand there and watch me burn. Well, that's alright because I like the way it hurts. Just gonna stand there and hear me cry. Well, that's alright because I love the way you lie.
Well, I think it stems from this relationship of violence, and when you get caught up in this relationship, you become numb to compassion, you become numb to love. When all you have is violence, all of that other stuff you're numb to, and so you keep going back to what you know, you keep going back to violence, and so you can end up loving the way that something hurts. You can end up loving only hearing lies, because the truth is hard to hear when you're caught up in this violent relationship. Eminem starts saying things like, "You and I are exactly the same." And this is the imitative nature of violence. They end up yelling at each other, getting in each other's face, and punching at each other, being violent with one another, and threatening one another with more and more violence until you're threatening with death. This is hell. And this is what the prophets, Eminem and Rihanna, are warning us about. If you keep going down, this way, and you get caught up in this violent relationship with one another, you're just going to create a hell for yourselves. When Jesus talks about hell, he uses the word Gehenna primarily. And Gehenna was a garbage dump in Israel. And it was the place where you would take your garbage. There was a fire always there burning the garbage. But it was also where Israelites would go and sacrifice their children to the gods, to false gods. And the prophets would always say, don't worship those false gods. Why? Because it leads to violence. It leads to you sacrificing, killing even your own children. And this is the warning that the prophets are giving. And when Hosea says, after all of this violence that he's talking about going on in Israel, Hosea gives this alternative when he says about God, "I desire mercy, not sacrifice." Act in ways of mercy with one another. If you're in a relationship of violence, get out. Get out and seek to live in a relationship that's based on mercy. Now, that can be easier said than done. If you watch the video, you will see why. But you got to get out of these relationships. They will only lead us towards hell. this is the warning that we have from the prophets, Eminem and Rihanna. So those are my thoughts, and I'd love to hear what you think. Thanks.